president and our old executive director and our new executive director at the end of the program. But we have a few announcements to make, and we have some friends from the Spokane Tribe and the Salish School to help us ground ourselves in this convention on this land. And I think more and more in Spokane, we are feeling that we need to do that every time we meet, is to realize all the land is sacred land. All the lives, sacred lives. The borders are artificial. I'd like to introduce to you our chapter president, Rusty Nelson.
All right.
He started this chapter back in 1989 and then went dormant, and then in 2010 he started back up, and gosh darn it, that's when I got involved, influenced by it. He's influenced. And then here's George Taylor. He was our vice president, and we're going to share the opening Three Stooges routine. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rusty, who will take it from there for a while.
All right.
Now you know as much as I do about what I'm supposed to do here. But it's a real thrill to have you here in Spokane, hosted by our little chapter. And if anything goes wrong, we can always blame it on Hollis. He's the only one who had enough vision to take this on. He and George did this behind my back. So I said, well, I think you're going to stay behind my back for a while. Just don't push too much. There is a great deal that I would love to tell you about our chapter and its spotted history, about my background in coming to grips with social justice since I came to Spokane in 1981. But I think we'll proceed here with our duties, and Hollis is going to have to prompt me here to make sure I get two things, but there's some people here that we want to introduce, some very special people in our community. And most of my connections with these folks have been through something called the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane, which my wife and I staffed for about 20 years. And this comes to organizing. For 20 years, I've basically worked as a community organizer. Everybody who knows me well knows that I couldn't organize a one-car funeral. So I've done this thing with a lot of bluster, and I've been allowed to continue to do that as president of Spokane Vest for Peace. But I'm going to let Hollis carry the load here, because he knows what's going on, or at least he's supposed to. And well, George is also one of our catalysts. I once introduced Hollis as the catalyst of our chapter in a regional gathering we were having in Tacoma, and somebody there, one of the GFP, oh, we need one of those. So everybody does need a catalyst, and perhaps, very likely, many of you are a catalyst in your chapter. So it's that kind of thing that makes the organization so important to the United States and the world. We were presumptuous enough to ask Carol Evans, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Spokane Tribe, to come and give us an opening welcome. Since this place where we are, of course, was indigenous, Spokane River used to provide abundant, huge salmon for the people of the Spokane Nation. 3 bands of the Spokane Nation lived much of the year along the Spokane River. And took the salmon, which we have completely done away with in this part of the state. But we still have some outstanding role models among the Spokane Nation, and I'm delighted to present Carol Evans.
Thank you, Carol.
Good morning, my beautiful people and relatives. I'm honored to be here with all of you, with each and every one of you. It's always such a great honor to be able to come and welcome all of the beautiful people that come to this beautiful land. Samasa Pluhisquest. Amasa is my Indian name, or I like to say my Scottish name, given to me by my late grandmother, Cecilia Pion Abrahamson. She was a member of the Coeur d'Alene tribe, and back in those days before her, people didn't consider themselves this tribe, that tribe, that tribe. That was given to us by the people that came, and they separated us. And in fact, my grandmother, part of her mother's family, part of them went to Coeur d'Alene, part went to Spokane, somewhere in Flathead. So we're all one people, and that's why I tell that, because our people are indigenous people that honor one another, and it's not about separating us, because we are one people. No matter what you say, we're still one people. Tum Flusquest Fluhin, Pauline Stearns. My mother is Pauline Stearns, or was Pauline Stearns. She was a member of the Spokane tribe. She's actually the first woman elected to the Spokane Tribal Business Council, which is the elected leadership of the Spokane tribe. And so I'm always honored to say that. Mestum Flusquest Fluhin, Leroy Stearns. Leroy Stearns was my father, and he was also a member of the Spokane tribe of Indians. Sina Flusquest Fluhin, Magnus Abrahamson. Magnus Abrahamson was my maternal grandfather, and his roots go back all the way to a Sulu Stu, who was a tribal member, or a Kalispel tribal member that came over the mountain and married at Upper Spokane in Chewela Valley. So my roots go back to Chewela Valley. Chichia Flusquest Fluhin, Cecilia Pion Abrahamson, my maternal grandmother, a member of the Coeur d'Alene tribe. She also was a tribal leader of that tribe, and just a proud lady that really believed in her culture and tradition, and she knew it. And she taught as much as she could to her children and grandchildren. A beautiful lady who was taken from her home and put in a boarding school, lost her father, or not her father, her older brother and 2 sisters to tuberculosis in the boarding school. So she was traumatized as a young child, or a young lady in the boarding schools. Kenneth Flusquest Fluhin, Catherine Andrews. Catherine was my paternal grandmother, also a member of the Spokane tribe. A beautiful little lady, just tiny, and she loved to dance. And when she was dancing in the war dances, she would be always smiling. Skepa Flusquest Fluhin, Leroy Stearns Sr. My paternal grandfather was Leroy Stearns Sr., and he was a non-Indian. who came from Wisconsin. His family roots came from Wisconsin. And before that, I don't know what boat he came over on, or his ancestors. But that's who my family is. I was always taught by my grandmother and my elders that whenever you address somebody or a crowd, you always tell them who you are, where you came from, and then maybe they can make a connection, and maybe you can create a relationship just by that connection. If you go on the Pion side, you can go back all the way to William Pion, Baptiste Pion, who lived on the Pion Prairie near Spokane Mountain. So I have roots there too. So that's who I am. As stated, I am the chairwoman actually of the elected leadership of the Spokane Tribe of Indians. The first chairwoman of the tribe, so feel really good because for me it's not I'm here to save anyone or anything, but I think it's important to always have the woman's perspective in elected leadership. And thank you. And I only bring myself to the table, and I have to be honest with you, what it brings is a calming. It brings some type of calming. You know, you have your mother, you have Mother Earth, and the ones who bear children, you know, you bring love, kindness, and just a beautiful presentation of bringing life into the world. And so that's, I think, what the woman's perspective brings. It brings that touch of warmth, of love, of caring. Not to say that the male role does not provide the same. They do, and it's important that we have both perspectives. So that's about me. And about my people. As stated, this is the homeland of the Spokane people, of the Spokane Tribe of Indians. My ancestors were a beautiful people, a loving people, a caring people, a salmon people, a river people. We sustained off of the salmon, and those beautiful fish every year would leave the tributaries of the Spokane River, make a long trek, a 4,000-mile trek to the ocean, and then 3-4 years later they would return every year, all the way up the Columbia River, up the tributaries of the Spokane River, all the way to the Spokane Falls, right down here in Riverfront Park. You can go look and see, and that's where they came to spawn, in those deep pools, just beautiful. And my salmon chiefs, the ancestors and their salmon chiefs would regulate the harvest of the salmon. And because we were a kind people, we always shared it. We shared it with the community, with the other tribes, with the non-Indians, when the non-Indians came into this land. And so it was a beautiful thing. And like stated, we haven't had the salmon because of the dams. We haven't had the salmon in this area, which was a tragic, to my people, a tragic historical trauma that caused a loss of culture, tradition, because all of the ceremony around welcoming the salmon back every year to give itself to us so we could survive. There was so much culture, spiritual, traditional practices that revolved around that beautiful fish, because it is what sustained us, that we lost a lot of that, some of the language around the salmon ceremony. And so my people have always said, the elders have said, bring back the salmon and we can heal. Bring back the salmon and our children will heal. And so my tribe has always said, we may have been the only one for a while saying we will bring back the salmon. And the reason I'm talking about the salmon is because today my tribe is doing a release. We are releasing 50 salmon in Shimmikin Creek to go out. The little salmon, I think I don't know what they're called, fingerlings, and they're going to go out. We're going to let them go out so that we can start the process of bringing the salmon back.
Hey.
And actually, I got a secret. We did this a couple of years ago, and when we do this, we use science. So we put some type of tag in them so we can track them out and track them back. We had one come back this year. It came back. And of course, it's not going to get over Chief Joe or over Cooley Dam, but it got that far, and the Caldwell tribe graciously allowed us to go down and take that salmon. So now we will have a ceremony around that beautiful salmon that came back to us. So I just wanted to share that with you because that brings joy to my heart and to the tribal members that sit in the room. So I'm just really honored to be here with you, all of you. Scallop, good people of peace. I know that you stand for peace, and I share your value. My people share that value. The indigenous people of the world share that value with you. In order for us to survive as a people, as a race, we need to have peace. First of all, we must have peace within. That's here. We must, each and every one of us must have peace within ourselves. And then we must have peace with one another. Each one of us must have peace. And one of the things my grandmother taught me is this. Would you, each one of you, turn to the person next to you and shake their hand?
My name is Steve. Steve, this is Dave.
Shake your hands, everybody.
Good morning.
So all of a sudden I see everyone smiling. Isn't that cool?
It is.
That's wonderful. My grandmother taught me, and you know, my ancestors had all of these beliefs and these practices that now our scientists prove why that is. What does that do to your heart, to your mind, when you greet one another, when you provide warmth to one another? I know it does something to, is it called serotonin?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the scientist says. But my ancestors knew this. They knew this. You be kind to one another, and you're going to spread love and peace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that each and every one of us have peace amongst each other. It's important that we have peace in our families. You know, there's so many families that are broken. They're broken amongst each other. Brothers and sisters, fathers and children, mothers and children. You know, we need to go to those people that we have a difference within our family and make peace. You know, ask for forgiveness for yourself, ask for their forgiveness, ask them to ask you for forgiveness, and bring that peace and love back. It's important that we have peace in our communities. We must all get along. We must have peace within our cities, within our states, and within our nation. And beyond that, nations must have peace amongst each other. We don't need war, we need peace.
Yeah.
And so I just really feel that if we provide kindness, warmth, love, and peace amongst each other, we will heal the whole world. And when we come together like this, for the purpose of peace, we can do it. Because we do it here, we feel it, we go out, and we do it with everyone we come in contact, and it'll grow, and it'll grow, and it'll grow, and we'll be there. And so that is what I'm thankful to you for doing this, for standing up for peace, and for sharing it with the world. Lemlunch, thank you for that. Thank you. And now what I would like to do is share a blessing, an invocation for this event. Whenever I pray or offer an invocation, I never do it to offend anyone. I don't normally think or prepared invocation. I kind of just do it from the heart, so sometimes it comes out, sometimes it don't. You know? And so I'm just human, you know. So I'm going to do the best I can, and you know, and I never want to offend anyone. So if you must, pray in your own way. Cox Chowie, please stand. Colin Sutton, Lemlunch. Lemlunch. Thank you, Creator. We just thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for all of the gifts that you give us. For you give us so many gifts. You give us the air, the water, the land, the birds, the fish, the salmon, the eagle, the deer, the elk. For all, you give us so much. Thank you for the people. We just ask that you be amongst us today. Be in our hearts, be in our minds, and just bless each and every person that is in this room. Fill their heart with love. Fill their heart with forgiveness. Fill their heart with hope and love. And we just ask that you keep all of their families safe. If they're away from their families, keep their families safe. And if they had to travel to get here, help them to have a safe journey home. We just ask that you continue to be with us and help us to bring peace amongst ourselves, within ourselves, amongst ourselves, within our communities, within our nation, and amongst our nations. Be with us, Creator. Be with us always. And we are forever grateful to you. In your name we pray. Thank you, and may you have a wonderful conference. She'uhoi Lemlunch.
All right.
Asked to introduce the next honored guest, the next elder. He is an elder from our tribe, from the Spokane tribe. He's also a relative of mine. He would be my father's first cousin, and of course he comes from Sulu Stu, the one I told you about, and he's what we would call a younger elder. An elder is someone that doesn't self-proclaim themselves as an elder. An elder is someone who everyone out there looks at as being a leader, as someone that when they speak you listen. And he truly is an elder. He has worked for the school district his whole life, teaching our language, teaching our culture, and teaching our tradition to our youth. He's a wonderful elder of our community, and we treasure him. He teaches us the songs of our ancestors. And so I know he's going to share a prayer and song with you this morning. Pat Moses from the Spokane tribe. Come on up, Pat. It's an honor to
Just blessed. It's song here in just a minute here. The song goes back 160 some years, back in the late 1850s when our people were fighting for their way of life. It's like the sign that here says, sacred land. Our people at that time still do see a land as sacred, the water being sacred. So our people fought to try to preserve their way of life back in the 1850s. And that's where the song comes from. The song, when I sing the song, I think of people like Carol, Deb, Darlene, others that try to preserve culture best we can. Because when Rory sang the song the last time, they'd ended life. And imagine that when he sang the song, he thought about it was the end of Indian people. That Europeans would come to America, to the Northwest, and taking their land and everything, that was just going to be the end. So imagine having a noose around your neck. Well, when you finish the song, your life's going to end. And in that time, I think about living people 100 years from then, and they are now still retaining language, culture, customs, ceremonies, and beliefs that people did back then. So I think this song was kind of a prayer reaching out to hearts of many people. Every tribe now has, I think, language program trying to revive the language. And some tribes don't have the elders anymore. They have a lot of documents and recordings, but all their elders passed on that teach language. We've got a couple left that are up there in years and have health issues, but we've still got a few that still were around to hear the elders speak many years ago. But some tribes, they've lost all the elders. So that word sacred means a lot of things to many people. So when I sing the song, I think about those that are working with the tribe, any tribe, best they can to preserve the culture, language, history. Another one long ago came to the Spokane tribe, another tribe, he had a concern. He said, the day comes when many people stop speaking the language, stop ceremonies. The government may come and take your land, saying, there's no many people. That's what makes it different. All the people, our culture, language, history. We share that with Indian people, but no one else in America has our unique culture that we try to hang on to. So that's one thing what Carol was talking about. So my teachings, I've learned from my teachings with elders and spiritual leaders and other things, talking about when you leave this world, you can't leave with hate, anger, jealousy in your heart. When you cross over, but you go to the final doors, you have a waiting time until something happens that you're about to go to the final doors because you left this world with hate, anger, jealousy, greed, whatever it is that makes you tick, or makes you tick in this world. When you die, when you cross over, you're going to go to the pretty gate because you left with anger, hate, jealousy, greed in your heart. I've learned that from being sure to give other people that see nothing on the other side that didn't cross over because they didn't make it all the way because they left with anger, hate, jealousy, and greed. So I keep that in mind that many people in North Community are Christians, but yet they still hate other people because of the color of their skin, their religion, those kind of things. They hard to believe that call themselves Christians, they hate other people because of religion, skin color, language, that kind of stuff. So I keep in mind when I hear people talk about, when they pray about people that, in this world, our soul's got a cure, our heart's got a cure. Every time we sweat, we ask Topia, the grandfather, to take any anger or hate that we have in our heart and our soul, that they cleanse, so that we make it during the next day, then we'll have a clear road to get the other side of our answers are waiting. But if we leave this world with anger, hate, jealousy, greed, all those things that make people sometimes treat other people in bad ways, and sometimes they have a hard time getting to the final part of the journey to catch up with their ancestors. I keep those thoughts in mind. So I've learned a lot from my culture, from teaching from elders that I've been around. Like Carol said, her dad was my cousin. Deb later on, I knew her dad, just two great men that served in the Korean War. They were sent there to do their job, they come back, they never came back with good big hearts. I mean, they were good men. They didn't come back with anger, hate, jealousy. They just came back and raised families and worked hard and really outstanding men that served the country and came back and became a good role model for me to look up to. my carols today, they're releasing sound. That's not like that took a long time in making, but that's what happened. Once they get fully down, the sound stopped coming up. So today they're releasing sound in the Shimkin area, and I think Paul's about the Keller area, the area, they're releasing sound up there. I was asked to be there today, but I said I'll have to be here today because I committed to be here. So it's a big day for us. Our tribe to call people to have sound back in the river, and maybe time they'll sound back to their ancestral spawning grounds and have sound again. You know, time to come. So it's just really fantastic thing to witness happening today in the waters. Northwest, we came to see the event because of septic being defeated by warriors that had basically bows and arrows and not any real guns or rifles. So we came to seek revenge and did a lot of good spirit things to people. But one thing he did was slaughter 800 horses under the state line. You'd that day be a big news story if somebody did that day to go and kill 800 horses. He did that because it was a Spokane's way of mobility to get around. Called the horse slaughter area in the Ottawa and Washington state line. Really sad story. But anyway, the story goes that some warriors turned themselves in. Rosetta had the right of taking some chiefs and people captive. So, being honored, warriors came in to hopefully get a fair hearing for a trial with the minutes they're going to be hung. So, one story goes that they asked one warrior if anything to say, he said no. Yeah, second warrior, anything to say, he said no. Third one said no, but he had a song to sing. So I said, imagine you being a hurt, that warrior, knowing that complete song, your life would end. The song could be his prayer song, his medicine song, his death song. But I think the song reached out and touched the heart like Deb, Carol, Darlene, other people that work for a tribe. There's every language, culture, in forestry, fishery, gaming. Trying to keep speak to the animals, fish, dove, gaming part, what they do, their part. Keeping the forestry, and avoiding clear cuts. So they're, in a sense, trying to respect the land as much as they can. Still harvest timber, still harvest fish or game. They try to put limits and not have them wiped out in short years. I think songs have touched many people by the time we rise the language of other tribes. A couple weeks ago we heard, we had a language compensation school. We filled it once more now. When freedom left, the language, they were here to testify about, talk to the people out here that they're themselves to stand up and try to teach young kids the language. The language who you are. If you're going to speak sometimes, they speak with touching heart. You tell a story. There's those that achieve good things with the tribe. There's something called chief song. With hanging song. Again, imagine this warrior, Moose Manjanek, wondering what will happen to these people in the future. Luckily, Samoa may be coming back, language may be coming back again. So a lot of good things are happening. As long as you go yet, we lost a lot of things. We lost this land area, land base. We've still got a piece of land called Ascoli for a reservation. So there's we're happy to have what we have. We have nothing, but we have to be happy with what we have left to make the best of it. We sing this song to honor all of you for being here, for veteran rights. I myself served in Vietnam, with the Army, with the units. So I remember a lot of good memories of good people that were there. Some didn't come back. One did come back, a lot of mental scars, what they had to do to stay alive in the jungles. Because they realized that when we were airborne, I was on Hampton Field to come back, a lot of emotional scars, what he had to do to take part in to stay alive. We're dealing with to come back, have to, with nightmares, those kind of things that really take him to his life, to our deal. So we think of those people too that are back. some with physical injuries, and some with emotional scars that had to endure to do the job, get along here, or to get orders. So this song we call Chief Song, Hanging Song. One prayer, so we know that's the Lord's Prayer, we'll say it in our language, just to be able to hear the spoken language. Ela ministrate mas tranquility, as Westwoods mentioned, which has to be asked for us, as and tells fully as fully. It's a master. Happy to see the acting test was look how we can't touch Westwood. Do it when we can play. Oh, she will talk about to play. We going to feed. Lord of heavens, to Martin describe us in his heavens, to master, let us share the prayer with these Lord. So I hope that's all. Thank you.